Hey, how's it going, everybody? I thought maybe we could take a little time, just relax, build a nice little city here, and honestly just talk a little bit about 5 days. Really impressed me. Just thought I'd review with you guys what I liked, see what you liked. If you feel like commenting anything, then it'd be cool to have a little discussion about it. But otherwise, just relax, enjoy, as I hopefully put together a little metropolis here. Let's see. I think I've done Cliffside Bay, I think, 100 times now. Island seems hard. Two Rivers seems like a nice mix. A little water, a little land, let's go with that. Alright, so first thing I want to review is what I really liked about the game. And there was a lot, honestly. I thought it was very witty throughout. Really liked the tone. Sarcastic, bitingly sarcastic a lot of the time. But not without its share of humanity. You know, sometimes when people go really cynical like that, it really seems to eat into the heart of it, I guess. You know, it just seems like a satire. Like it would have seemed like a satire, I guess, of a horror game if I just if the whole time he had just been making, you know, one-offs and jokes and quips. The actual, yeah, I know how to do this, friend. It's not my first rodeo. Yeah, his actual fear throughout, you could really, was really palpable for a lot of the time, a lot of the game. And I really think that added a lot to the overall atmosphere. So witty, but not too witty, I would say. The other thing is that the puzzles I really liked. I thought they were pretty consistently very well done. Always made sense within the context. Like, what you're picking up for the most part made sense, and what you found in the house made sense. I'm terrible at these games. So if you do enjoy these games, you're probably not going to enjoy my take on things. Stripper, yeah. Power plant. Okay, but I can't afford that, so I gotta do some of these. Okay, I got some good. Oh yeah, 5 Days Stranger. Sorry, I wanted this to be a reflection on one game, and now I can't get my head out of the other. So yeah, the puzzles all made a lot of sense. Everything that you collected, whether it was a teddy bear or a stick or a cord, or, you know, the younger Defoe's implements like the machete, everything was given to you in a way that made sense, was totally very much appropriate for the environment and in context. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. So people are moving into a home with no power or electricity. It's not going to go too well. So those were the things I definitely liked. There's something else. Oh, I did want to say that as much as I might have ragged on them myself at times, I did really like the characters overall. Okay, so I'm going to establish it upriver. AJ, obviously we didn't get to see a lot of AJ. Real shame. I'm sure he was a very likable guy. Trilby was an excellent protagonist. You know, very at once, definitely sympathized with him. Definitely struck, maybe not a Robin Hood vibe, because he certainly didn't give to the poor as far as we ever saw. But there was a sense that he did not steal from anything worthwhile. You know, made him very sympathetic even as the thief. Simone struck me as a level-headed reporter who really, the truth meant a lot to Simone. I really got that feeling. That she wasn't in it just for the fame, although I think she was in it for a little bit the fame. Although what TV hostess, if anything, isn't in it for the fame, at least a little bit. But overall, I felt like Simone was a very moral character in a way that was, you know, more moral than Trilby, you might say, but at the same time, like, not gratingly so. And same with Jim overall. Innocent, kind, but not, like, Girl Scout level, you know? Phil, gotta say, I like Phil a little bit. Like, in retrospect, at the time he seemed pretty jerkish. At the time he was pretty jerkish. But looking back, there was something about him, let's see how that goes, that was really well written. He was a jerk, but he was a believable jerk, except for when he, for some reason, thought we lived in ancient Egypt, and the Defoes would have a tomb with multiple entrances that was filled with treasure and goodies. But otherwise, believable, likable, Kinda, you know what? I'll say yes. Somewhat likable, at least. So overall, super strong foundation. The things that I thought were, like, valid critiques on my part, and they were, very minor in the long run. The pixel hunt got a bit much at times. Couldn't say that I loved that element of it. I actually cut out the worst of the pixel hunts, if you want to believe that. I know, it's scary to think, but I actually took out, when I was hunting for the bodies, things got really bad for a while. When I was hunting for where to dig up the bodies, because you really had to hit very precisely the exact right place. When I was getting the scissors, I had to cut like a good 30 seconds of clicking all over that cabinet and driving myself crazy before I could pick up the scissors successfully. And that was after I found them. So, I think that's really more a limitation. Whoa, these people gotta poop. Sorry, but, come on, this is pretty urgent stuff here. You gotta poop, you gotta poop. Let's get exit pipe there. Just drag that up here. I'm sure this is incredibly inefficient. I'm sorry for anybody raging it out. Alright, so that's all done there. Good. Come in, my little friends. Come in and excrete. Alright, so Pixel Hunty was, I guess, probably issue number 1. I'll say it wasn't always incredibly logical what you had to do. Not that it ever is in an adventure game. And you know what? Like, I just finished saying that it was overall pretty logical. So won't complain too much. The tree shaking was the only one that really stuck with me. When AJ is up in the tree and you're supposed to know to go up and give it a good shake to and fro, when previously that really wasn't something that I think I tried that earlier and it didn't do anything. So that was a bit frustrating. Oh, did they not have water? Come on. There we go. Okay, good. Yes, not always incredibly logical. Shaking the tree specifically. In terms of the puzzles, I thought that was the most egregious offender. But even then, compared to a lot of adventure games, really not so bad. Story-wise, the thing that really threw me off, I understand it's 5 Days a Stranger. Like, the 5 days are baked into it from the get-go. You've got day 1, you've got day 2, you've got day 3, you've got day 4. And I guess they had to border those with them resting or something, Okay, I found... Tripper doesn't say a lot of useful stuff, does he? That's not just me, right? Like, I get there's, some clever pop culture references in there sometimes, but sometimes it just seems like, why? What was I going to say? Oh, yes, so weird times to go to sleep, right? Looking through my videos, it looks like one of the first times we fell asleep was, like, we were all deciding that we were alone in the house, it was super spooky and mysterious, and somebody was missing. And there's not many places AJ could have been. Like, the house or the backyard. That's pretty much it. But instead of look for him, we said, whatever, we'll look for him in the morning. So next day, okay, I, Trilby, am the only person looking for AJ, or vaguely concerned. And what do you know? I find AJ dead in the pool, and what happens? Apparently, I tell everybody, and then we go back to sleep. So I just found it really weird how they sort of bordered things there, they being Yahtzee, obviously. I get that the concept was it was spread over a few days. I'm not sure if that needed to be a core concept. And then, once it was, the way they had to kind of, stick to it through thick and thin and through some questionable logic didn't always, I noticed. Let's just say I noticed. I think that was the worst of the logic jumps in this story. And overall, the story I found very entertaining at the same time. Spooky, sympathize. I've never had a horror story where I sympathized for the monster that much, 6:30, okay, gotta do some fun tax stuff here, huh? Gonna tone down the utilities. And if people don't like it, they can go jump in the river. Both of them, 2 rivers. They have a wide variety of options to choose from. Okay, so those are the things I didn't like. I was wondering what you guys thought, what was John Defoe's motivation? Because they said in the game that it was murder, plain and simple. He was in it for the killing, because he thought everybody was his father, because he never really had a chance to mentally develop, or emotionally develop. But at the same time, I just thought that was kind of strange. Given what we saw of him, you know what people probably want is jobs, places to work. There we go. Look at this happy little rectangle. Happiest little rectangle on Earth. So what was it? Oh yeah, so they had decided that the Defoe was haunting the house, wanted to murder everybody, all because of his dad, right? But at the same time, if that was the case, then why did he bring in the car? You know, Trilby's car that showed up in the backyard? What was that about? Because it all really did is provide context for his story. All it really did is give us a chance to read the diaries that, as dumb as it sounds, like the house must have known we're in there? I mean, maybe, all I can think of, like, why else would he give us the car unless he wanted Trilby to have the lockpicks that let him get into the rest of the house and learn what was going on in the house? Why else except, I don't know, curiosity maybe? Maybe he just never had a chance to get to a car before? God darn it, why are you having so much of a hard time pooping over here? Oh, because there's no power at the sewage factory. Sewage factory. No, every single citizen we have is a sewage factory, actually. This is actually the opposite of a sewage factory. So here, hopefully that'll get things flowing, am I right? Alright, so yeah, I was a little confused at times. Same with the newspaper. All the newspaper did is make things more clear in terms of the story. You know, really provide exposition and really make us sympathize more for the younger Defoe. So part of me wonders if at least part of him wasn't trying to be understood, wasn't yearning to be understood. Other option, of course, is that, as we saw in the finale, you know, the Matthew Defoe and Sir Roger Defoe were haunting the house to some extent, at least. I think it's entirely possible that maybe somehow, I guess, if, I don't know, they were especially strong spirits for some reason, maybe they did all the newspaper stuff, maybe they were trying to help us, well, I don't want to say destroy their family member, but destroy their family member and end his reign of terror. Which is kind of noble, I guess. Maybe like a nice redemption for Sir Roderick Defoe, if you want to look at it that way. But definitely interested to hear what you guys think, if anything, regarding why the house seemed to have conflicting feelings sometimes. I did wonder also what happened to AJ and Philip. I'm sorry, not Phil. We murdered him. There were no questions about what happened to Phil. But AJ specifically, I was really curious about, because I feel like we would have noticed, like Trilby would have noticed if he had murdered somebody and then buried them in a pool. Like, maybe not the murdering, although he did wake up the one time, like immediately after the one time we know he murdered. But if he had murdered somebody and then buried them in the middle of the pool, not buried, but chained them to the middle of the pool, how could we possibly not have noticed that? So I wonder if there wasn't another malevolent force at work. Or maybe at least that Defoe the Younger had a different vessel than Trilby. You know, he wasn't alone in... Oh, good, we're turning in a nice profit now. That's a connection. So now you're sent to a highway connection. Oh, no! I never built a way for people to leave the city. Well, you know... Say what you will, we're not having any problems with people leaving anytime soon. Maybe we should just leave it that way. Nah, I won't leave it that way. I'll make another little rectangle here. Oh yeah, so I feel like maybe there was somebody else. Maybe, like, I thought maybe Phil. Phil had the physical strength for it, I think. But maybe there was some other way that Defoe the Younger was getting his murdering done. Besides Trilby. I mean. And the last thing that I really expected to be addressed and really never was, as far as I can tell, was the scratches under the window in the master bedroom, I guess it would have been. Remember, as soon as I walked in, I noticed the scratches under the window and thought they were super foreboding. And then, what do we find except, no, in fact, there is, like, nothing there waiting, or nothing was there, rather. I thought we were going to find out somebody had been a prisoner in the house. And as far as I could tell, that was really not the case. You know, we never really saw any evidence that somebody had been locked in the bedroom specifically, rather. The murder dungeon, obviously another story. It's a cool cool little island over there. So you'll build a park on it or something. Whenever I see these like beautiful natural formations, I feel the urge to do something totally illogical and just turn like this into a beautiful utopia that is fueled by a whole rest of the city, like suburbs and suburbs of miserable suburbanites. But we'll probably try not to do that this time. Although it'd be so pretty for the like 50 people who do get to live on the island. But we should. But maybe no, we should. So what did I learn playing 5 Days a Stranger? Well, obviously it was my first bunch of videos, so learned a heck of a lot about making videos. Let's put it politely there. Learned a lot about audio mixing. Definitely going to keep a stronger eye on that in the future, so you can actually hear me at all times, and also hear the music if there is any. Hey, 420 blazing. There's some original first-rate humor for you. Similarly, I learned that you've got to be careful of your fans or whatever other sources of noise you might have in your recording situation, even if they make you more comfortable and arguably safer. You know, obviously the audience is not here for that. There we go, get more workers for the people who are already working. What else? I learned not to move the camera. I've got things nicely marked there. Thank you, Mr. Camera, for remaining still for right now. So hopefully we'll be able to approach me from this very flattering camera angle for the foreseeable videos. And above all else, I think I learned to always check the library. There is always a relevant book in adventure games. If an adventure game is giving you a lot of books, you're going to need them soon. So might as well try and read through them all now. But I think that's pretty much it. Got cool downtown here to a cute little hamlet. And yeah, 5 Days a Stranger, big thumbs up, liked it a lot. Looking forward to, I found out there is a bunch more in the series, or 3 more anyway. Jizao Mythos is, I think, the name of the series officially. So definitely going to play those at a later date. But in the meantime, wanted to share with you guys just one more piece of the game that we hadn't really gotten a chance to explore so far. So enjoy it here. Later days. Wikineer Productions presents 5 Days a Stranger, the Tell-All Interview. Welcome back to the Simone Taylor interview. My next guest is amateur game designer Yahtzee, who is joining me here in the Defoe Manor Lounge to talk about 5 Days a Stranger. Unfortunately, Yahtzee couldn't be with us in person tonight, but we have been able to channel his spirit through an adolescent border collie. Yahtzee, welcome. Nice to be here. So, 5 Days a Stranger, winner of 5 AGS Awards, nominated for DIY Games Game of the Year. Where did it all begin? Well, Simon, the idea first came to me while playing a hentai game called Nocturnal Illusion. I found myself... Whoa, slow down. Hentai game? Yes, as in Japanese cartoon porn. Look, we can't control where inspiration strikes from. It was just the concept of isolation in a mysterious house that got me thinking, exactly how closely did you intend to follow your source material? Were you planning some kind of gangbang scene at any point? I don't really think this is relevant. I was the only woman in this game. I will not be able to sleep at night until I learn the answer to this question. No, I wasn't planning a gangbang scene. Thank you, that's all I wanted to know. So, you were playing a hentai game, and after you'd finished wanking... Look, I object to this style of questioning. You're getting fixated on the hentai game thing when it was one of several influences. Okay, so how much porn do you need before you can start on the game? That's it, this interview's over. Are you going to storm out? This is kind of embarrassing. I kind of couldn't be arsed to make walking sprites for this dog. That's been your problem all over, hasn't it? You have these visions of games, then you just can't be arsed to pull all the necessary effort in. I don't understand your attitude, Simon. for me, you wouldn't even have been in this game. Oh, and I'm supposed to thank you for that, am I? You could have at least drawn us some damn food. I lost 2 stone while I was stuck in here. I explained that in the commentary. God, you're pathetic. And it becomes even more pathetic when you realize that you're writing all of my dialogue and I'm still insulting you. Hey, yeah, I'm the omnipotent master of this realm. Shazam! You bastard! You turned me into an adolescent border collie as well. To be precise, a female adolescent border collie in heat. Let's shag! Did you remember to draw shagging dog sprites? Oh. And this has been an exclusive brought to you by several people over the last decade, but also